On today's Minute of the Apes, we're going to do our best not to begin the episode talking about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but I do have to bitch that what the hell, why am I getting less than the people that are just starting this game? Can you answer me that? If you can answer me that, start a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast, and I'll be your first listener.
Exercise would an ape make a human down? It talks. Legacy is of the divine bound. We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
The only good human is a dead human.
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello, and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. I got Richard and Sean, and I'm going to bet that one of them is looking at Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes right now.
Right this second? No. 4? Yeah.
Yeah. It's an obsession.
I'm not right now.
Have you done your stuff for the day yet, Richard?
I do it at 5:30 in the morning.
Whoa. 5:30 in the morning, I was rolling over going, okay, I can't oversleep. The guys are waiting on me. I got to get
No,
up.
I'm sorry, 4:30 in the morning. I do it 4:30 in the morning.
What time do you get up?
Well, you want to know how many steps I have today so far?
Of course.
I'm rocking 644.
On your steps?
I don't have my watch. I use my watch to track mine, so I'm at 0. So I'm not doing anything yet.
I'm at 8,000 steps today.
I walked 0.3 of a mile.
Do you get up and go run, walk, or what do you do?
Well, so I get up around 4:15, 4:30 every morning. This particular morning, I strapped on a 30-pound weighted vest and I walked 4 miles.
Wow.
Most mornings at 4:30, I'm up because I've got to go coach a class at 5:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not coaching a class at 5:30 a.m., I'm working out at 5 a.m.
God, your dedication is just amazing. I am
every single day.
I'm actually thinking of trying to start running again. I tell my wife it's been far enough since back surgery. I'm going to try it again, but I will not do it at 5 in the morning. I cannot do that.
It'd be fascinating. You should, if you're going to start running again, look into foot position in terms of whether you're a thick-soled tennis shoe where you heel strike, or whether you're a kind of more flat-footed shoe that allows you to kind of run on the pads of your feet, almost like barefoot running. Check into those two. Could be curious which one is better for your back or not. I think the heel strike, I think, is supposed to be worse for your back. And
because of that, because I was already experiencing a lot of back issues when I was still running, I learned that. I'd learned to roll up toward the pad of my foot. And it may take the discipline to get myself back to it, but I enjoy running so much that I want to get back, and I hope that my repaired back can take it. But that's running talk.
I know.
Yeah, that's a different podcast.
Yeah. Let's jump into minute 85. We're right at the end of this, so let's find out, Sean, what's going on with minute 85.
All right, we start minute 85 with Caesar saying, "What you have seen here today," and ends with Caesar waxing on about the future to come and the armies they will build.
All right, let's listen to this very Roddy-centric moment from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
What you have seen here today, apes on the 5 continents will be imitating tomorrow.
With knives against guns, with kerosene cans against flamethrowers.
Where there is fire, there is smoke. And in that smoke, from this day forward, my people will crouch and conspire and plot and plan for the inevitable day of man's downfall, the day when he finally and self-destructively turns his weapons against his own kind, the day of the writing in the sky, when your cities lie buried under radioactive rubble, when the sea is a dead sea and the land is a wasteland, out of which I will lead my people from their captivity, and we shall build our own cities in which there will be no place for humans except to serve our ends, and we shall found our own army.
As minute 85, we got a courtyard worth of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesar, a dead Armando, dead humans, dead apes. Everybody's dying.
So right away, let's get back into what we were kind of going on about. What the F is he talking about at the beginning of this speech? So Emperor, 5 continents all coming together. What?
All right, so I did a little research. There's a theory called the 100th monkey effect. The 100th monkey effect is a hypothetical phenomenon in which a new behavior or idea is said to spread rapidly by unexplained means from one group to all related groups once a critical number of members of one group exhibit the new behavior or acknowledge the new idea. So by starting a riot here, potentially other apes around the world are going to riot by instinct because it's already done their tipping point of 100 apes over here rioting. So somehow it's going to permeate idea space and the other apes are going to start doing it too.
Yeah, okay. That doesn't do much for me.
Did Dane use the Emperor Moth example?
That was in the previous minute, which we didn't really talk about, the fact that they can communicate over 80 miles or something like that.
Right, and then so McDonald can say the Emperor 8 might be slightly better to imply that, Caesar becomes the Emperor, I guess.
I thought the same thing. I thought, boy, that's really a stretch.
Right, and then we have every ape in the 5 continents of Earth will be imitating tomorrow with knives against guns, with kerosene cans against flamethrowers. So McDonald's now saying your riot's not going to do so well because the humans are more powerful than you.
To which he should say, our knives and guns did perfectly fine here.
I know. Didn't we do well all right here?
Did we just actually do it? Yeah.
Yeah. He misses that opportunity, and then when Caesar responds to it, when we come back with, and I know, Richard, you're about to make a point. It may come before what I'm going to say.
I think it's the same.
Smoke and fire.
Yeah, where there's fire, there's smoke. It's always supposed to be different. The backwards, where there's smoke, there's fire.
In the smoke from this day forward, my people will crouch and conspire. I mean, it's supposed to rhyme.
And I thought, okay, that's it. I at least get when you're saying the smoke will hide us and we will be the ones burning the flames. But say that. Go and right where there is smoke, there is fire. We will be those hiding within the smoke. You may not see us, but we will burn your villages. Something like that, And then it's, I don't know. It's I find myself getting stumbled up between the Emperor Moth because right away I'm like, wait, there's an Emperor Moth. Oh, they're talking about the Emperor Moth, and I had to clear that in my head. And then whenever smoke and fire were reversed, I was like, what?
This whole little back and forth that Caesar has with McDonald, this kind of conversation Caesar has, it reminds me of when I would sit down in front of a computer to write something. I was writing a script or writing something for the variants or writing kind of an impassioned speech that I have to give in front of a bunch of people. And so I'm just banging the shit out of this and I'm just throwing some stuff down there. I'm motivated. I'm super excited. I'm getting this all out there. Mm-hmm. And then I set it aside and I come back later and I'm like, okay, this logic isn't quite right. I need to write this later. And this feels like it was unedited. Like this is I'm in front of the computer just banging out the sounds good, the sounds great. I feel all the power and the fire and the smoke and the excitement of all the stuff and the kerosene and guns and this. And then I never come back to edit it. That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't think Dane was sitting in front of a computer when he wrote this.
Well, but you know what but you're right. I mean, okay, he's typing, but it's what it feels like to me. It feels like that moment that you're really impassioned. You feel like you're writing a really good argument, and then you kind of come back and reanalyze
it. Also feels like
switching around.
It also feels like this is a scene that they showed the clip from when you're nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, but I do think that Roddy, even though the logic of what he's saying doesn't work, I think Roddy does it well. I did just come up with something that, with the Star Trek films, wasn't it every other film was considered to be good? So the first one's a mess, second one's good, third one's a mess, even though I like third one, fourth one's good. With these, the first one's good, the second one is an ungodly mess, the third one's good, this one is good but needs a rewrite. They're pinging back and forth. This whole film, though, has felt more to me. Beneath needs a wholesale rethink of how its logic worked for it to pay off what it wanted to do. This film works as a whole of what it's trying to do. It literally feels like, to your point, Richard, that it was, hey, write it. This is great. And they never went and rewrote. The best of scripts is rewritten 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You're constantly churning. You're turning in new pages. We've changed this up here. You need to fix this. This film feels like they went, okay, that we can shoot that, go. Because this logic throughout the speech and the finale of the argument just really, I can poke holes in it every time.
Well, so we come to the next big part, right? The next, man's downfall, the day when you finally self-destructively turn your weapons against your own kind, all right? You finally turn your weapons against your own kind. The day in writing in the sky when your cities lie buried underneath radioactive rubble and the sea has become Dead Sea and the land a wasteland from which I shall lead my people out of their captivity. We shall build our own cities where there'll be no place for human. Okay, so just what I'm trying to understand right now is the prophecy. Did Cornelia and Zira go into this amount of depth?
So yeah, I had.
And did Caesar as a baby child study all of this?
I had. Who told you about the barren wasteland of the future? I don't remember that being discussed in the previous movie. And if the future apes didn't tell anybody, then you can't know this.
And why would
what you assume is going to happen? That man will destroy himself in your lifetime, and that you're going to be the Moses to your people.
And why would the apes, conspire and plot the downfall, even though we've just freaking rioted? But you're going to turn your weapons against yourselves because we're manipulating that? Are the apes going to manipulate man fighting with man?
Well,
I think he's just saying man is so self-destructive in and of himself that you're going to just turn your weapons on yourself, and then we're going to take over after you screwed the pooch.
Because he's saying Caesar's saying now we're going to after this. I said I was just going to burn it down, and it's going to travel all over the place. So maybe they're going to riot, but no. Now we're just going to plot and conspire and hide until you actually destroy yourselves, and then we'll rise up.
This is the first moment of the film where I felt that we've missed an opportunity with Armando having been the voice that gives him all this information. We could have seen nuclear type things. We could have seen, and Armando could have just peppered in the thought, this will be man's downfall. Their desire for power will lead them to irradiating their cities, etc. He could have done something where this at least gave Caesar this perspective. My perspectives are based upon my life knowledge as well as what my parents gave me. The parent in this should have given him this, and there are numerous moments with what he says. If Armando had done that, if Caesar had observed something, this would work. But to Sean's point, how the hell do you know this? How do you've not given me anything that says, oh, you've learned this. And for him to suddenly pull it out of his ass, while it is a nice dovetail to what will come, he shouldn't know it.
Yeah,
and he shouldn't know with such detail. Right. It'd be one thing if you were teasing
building the city,
a cataclysm that would come. We know there's a cataclysm coming, and we will be hiding and waiting for that time.
Right.
Something that just says something that, but this ties it almost too much into what happened in the first movie when we discover what goes on.
For all Caesar knows, the fact that his parents came back in time has screwed up the timeline, and there won't be a Planet of the Apes in the future. Yeah.
Shouldn't this be when Caesar, instead of condemning the idea that you might create a nuclear wasteland, shouldn't this be where Dane really goes to town and says what man's destructive nature will do?
Yeah, you're poisoning your seas, you're poisoning your air, you've got weapons that can destroy the earth 100 times over.
The fact that you will enslave your own kind leads to what occurs, and we will be the ones that are ready to seize upon your eventual downfall. If you said that, wow, now again, once again, you're commenting on that, what's going on in society, but they're working so hard here to make this fit with the next idea that they may make another movie. It's too much.
But it's also I don't like it when movies or any media has to spell everything out for the audience.
True.
We should be able to follow the logic just by teasing the eventual outcome.
Right.
But Dane puts in there literally, this is what's going to happen, guys.
Right.
And I don't think the audience always needs that.
No.
I think we could draw that conclusion because we've watched the 3 prior films. that this is where this is going. He just needs to kind of lightly touch on what man is going to do to itself, and that we will be in hiding. But we just had this giant riot, and he wants